Hey y'all, I want to do a little reading before the sun goes down completely, and I thought, why not share the sun with you? Thought maybe this would help with the glare on my glasses too, but obviously that's not true. Oh well. I think we ended the last one with this section on good, bad, or lucky, and then moving into our illusion about others, but I don't really remember exactly good, bad, or lucky, and it's short, so I'm going to go back and start from there. See how far I feel like reading tonight. I spent a lot of time actually with my music today, which was, I started out saying under no circumstances would I record myself, trying to recondition my fingers. I've lost my calluses, and of course my vocal's still kind of weak after being so sick. And I wasn't going to share it, but it just unfolded richly and just took us all different directions. So you know how I can get. There's one point I remember I was referencing the t-shirt I had on, Lucky Dogs, and my friend Johnny Barbados, singer-songwriter from Gulf Shores, Orange Beach. Like, what won't I talk about on a video? T-shirts. You're right. Good, bad, or lucky? To me, says Anthony de Mello, in Awareness, Perils, and Opportunities of a Reality, to me, selfishness seems to come out of an instinct for self-preservation, which is our deepest and first instinct. How can we opt for selflessness? It would be almost like opting for non-being. I mean, a lot of times what he's saying is shaking us up and making us real uncomfortable. Or as he says, we're reading to hear it. Yeah, he agrees with me. But maybe I agree with him. It's like, how can we opt for selflessness? How could we live? Well, I love that he says it would be almost like opting for non-being. So his references to selfishness in other chapters, we may have jumped to the idea that, again, that was an indictment, or we were doing something wrong, or we might have gotten kind of hard on ourselves when we read that, or thought, oh yeah, I can't be selfish. I think he, like I, is just saying, we use a mindfulness term, just be mindful of it. Observe, notice, be conscious of what, when, where, how, I don't know, who, when, what it is you're being selfish about. I can't be well with no concern for self personally. So to me, selfishness seems to come out of an instinct for self-preservation, which is our deepest and first instinct. How can we opt for selflessness? It would be almost like opting for non-being. To me, it would seem to be the same thing as non-being. And y'all know my word for 2026 is being. Being. Whatever it is I'm saying, stop feeling bad about being selfish. We're all the same. Someone once had a terribly beautiful thing to say about Jesus. This person wasn't even Christian, and he said, the lovely thing about Jesus was that he was so at home with sinners because he understood that he wasn't one bit better than they were. That is absolutely the way I not only imagine, but experience Jesus. Why he got Jesus as a being, an entity. Obviously, I wasn't around, but I remember during the time that he was incarnate and walking around in the flesh. It's the way I experience him now. How could I believe in an unconditionally loving divine being, God, Jesus, Christ consciousness, if he wasn't at home with sinners, if he did think he was better than, period, fill in that blank. We differ from others, from criminals, for example, only in what we do or don't do, not in what we are. We differ from others, from criminals, for example, only in what we do or don't do, not in what we are. The only difference between Jesus and those others was that he was awake. Yay! And they weren't. Look at people who win the lottery. Do they say, I'm so proud to accept this prize, not for myself, but for my nation and my society? Does anybody talk like that when they win the lottery? I don't know. I've never heard him. He says no. Because they were lucky. Lucky. So they won the lottery. First prize. Anything to be proud of in that? In the same way, if you achieved enlightenment, you would do so in the interest of self, and you would be lucky. I am lucky. Do you want glory in that? What's there to glory about? Can't you see how utterly stupid it is to be vain about your good deeds? The Pharisee wasn't an evil man. He was a stupid man. He was stupid, not evil. He didn't stop to think. Someone once said, I dare not stop to think because if I did, I wouldn't know how to get started again. All right, continuing on. This might actually be a long section. Our illusion about others. So if you stop to think, you would see that there's nothing to be very proud of after all. Somehow I love that. That's good news for me. Like you said, sometimes we're frustrated, annoyed, uncomfortable with what he says, and sometimes we're like, great, yes. Oh, it takes some pressure off. I'm watching the lights in the other room blink. It's weird. What does this do to your relationship with people? What are you complaining about? A young man came to complain that his girlfriend had let him down, that she had played false. What are you complaining about? Did you expect any better? Accept the worst. No, expect? I don't want to expect the worst, but let's see what else he has to say. Expect the worst. You're dealing with selfish people. What if we can recognize we're dealing with selfish people? We're all selfish, but that's not the worst. You're the idiot. You glorified her, didn't you? You thought she was a princess. You thought people were nice. He says they're not. Obviously, I like to believe. There's some nice people out there. I like to believe I'm nice, but I guess that gets me in trouble sometimes too. They're not nice. They're as bad as you are. Bad, you understand? They're asleep like you. And what do you think they are going to seek? Their own self-interest, exactly like you, no difference. Can you imagine how liberating it is that you'll never be disillusioned again, never be disappointed again, you'll never feel let down again, never feel rejected? Want to wake up? You want happiness? You want freedom? Here it is. Drop your false ideas. See through people. If you see through yourself, you will see through everyone. Then you will love them. Otherwise, you spend the whole time grappling with your wrong notions of them, with your illusions that are constantly crashing against reality. Let's pause. Let's drop into that place we talk about almost every video. That place where we just relax. Can you relax around this? Even if you're resisting it or it's making you uncomfortable, can you relax around what you're hearing? I almost want to go back and read that again, because it did feel like good news. Can you imagine how liberating it is that you'll never be disillusioned again, never be disappointed, never feel rejected? Want to wake up? You want happiness? You want freedom? Here it is. Drop your false ideas. See through people. If you see through yourself, you will see through everyone. Then you will love them. The Mayans have a word, a greeting in Lakesh. You may notice that a lot of times I sign the description of the videos in Lakesh, Laura. In Lakesh Alakin means I am you, and you are me. I can love you because I've learned to love me. And I hear the good news in this. It's okay if you don't. It's probably too startling for many of you to understand that everyone except the very rare awakened person can be expected to be selfish and to seek his or her own self-interests, whether in coarse or in refined ways. This leads you to see that there's nothing to be disappointed about, nothing to be disillusioned about. If you had been in touch with reality all along, you would never have been disappointed. But you chose to paint people in glowing colors. You chose not to see through human beings because you chose not to see through yourself. So you're paying the price now. That may not sound like goodness. It makes me giggle. Before we discuss this, let me tell you a story. I love that he's a storyteller too. Obviously, I love to tell stories. That's why I'm reading to you. Somebody once asked, what is enlightenment like? What is awakening like? It's like the tramp in London who was settling in for the night. He'd hardly been able to get a crust of bread to eat. Then he reaches this embankment on the River Thames. There was a slight drizzle, so he huddled in his old, tattered cloak. He was about to go to sleep when suddenly a chauffeur-driven Rolls Royce pulled up. Sorry, the sound of my laundry. My washing machine was distracting me. Out of the car steps a beautiful young lady who says to him, "My poor man, are you planning on spending the night here on this embankment?" And the tramp says, "Yes." She says, "I won't have it. You're coming to my house, and you're going to spend a comfortable night, and you're going to get a good dinner." She insists on his getting into the car. Well, they ride out of London and get to a place where she has a sprawling mansion with large grounds. They're ushered in by the butler, to whom she says, "James, please make sure he's put in the servants' quarters and treated well," which is what James does. The young lady has undressed and was about to go to bed when she suddenly remembers her guest for the night. So she slips something on and pads along the corridor to the servants' quarters. She sees a little chink of light from the room where the tramp was put up. She taps lightly on the door, opens it, and finds the man awake. She says, "What's the trouble, my good man? Didn't you get a good meal?" He said, "Never had a better meal in my life, lady." "Are you warm enough?" He says, "Yes, lovely warm bed." Then she says, "Maybe you need a little company. Why don't you move over a bit?" And she comes closer to him, and he moves over and falls right into the Thames. Ha! You didn't expect that one. Enlightenment. Enlightenment. Wake up. When you're ready to exchange your illusions for reality, when you're ready to exchange your dreams for facts, that's the way you find it all. That's where life finally becomes meaningful. Life becomes beautiful. There's a story about Ramirez. He is old and living up there in his castle on a hill. He looks out the window. He's in bed and paralyzed, and he sees his enemy. Old as he is, leaning on a cane, his enemy is climbing up the hill, slowly, painfully. It takes him about 2.5 hours to get up the hill. There's nothing Ramirez can do because the servants have the day off. So his enemy opens the door, comes straight to the bedroom, puts his hand inside his cloak, and pulls out a gun. He says, "At last, Ramirez, we're going to settle scores." Ramirez tries his level best to talk him out of it. He says, "Come on, Borgia, you can't do that. You know I'm no longer the man who ill-treated you at that younger years ago. As that youngster years ago, and you're no longer that youngster. Come off it." "Oh no," says his enemy. "Your sweet words aren't going to deter me from this divine mission of mine. It's revenge, and I want, and there's nothing you can do about it." And Ramirez says, "But there it is." "What?" asks his enemy. "I can wake up," says Ramirez. And he did. He woke up. That's what enlightenment is like. When someone tells you there is nothing you can do about it, you say, "There is. I can wake up." All of a sudden, life is no longer the nightmare that it has seemed. Wake up. Somebody came up to me with a question. What do you think the question was? He asked me, "Are you enlightened?" What do you think my answer was? What does it matter? I was almost going to venture a guess, and I don't think I would have said that. I couldn't land on yes or no, and I didn't think of a third option. What does it matter? After everything we've been reading, that's why I say it's not an indictment. This is all an invitation to glimpse your truth from an attitude of openness, willingness to learn something new. Don't I have a beautiful view? Oh, I love my home and so grateful for it. I'm glad to share it with you tonight. What does it matter? You want a better answer? My answer would be, how would I know? How would you know? What does it matter? You know something? If you want anything too badly, you're in big trouble. You know something else? If I were enlightened and you listened to me because I was enlightened, then you're in big trouble. Are you ready to be brainwashed by someone who's enlightened? You can be brainwashed by anybody. You know? What does it matter whether someone's enlightened or not? But see, we want to lean on someone, don't we? We want to lean on anybody we think has arrived. We love to hear that people have arrived. Gives us hope, doesn't it? What do you want to hope for? Isn't that another form of desire? You want to hope for something better than what you have right now, don't you? Of course, I want to say no. And mostly that'd be true lately. I love this life I'm living. I love these daily challenges. I love me, I love you. Otherwise, you wouldn't be hoping. We talked about that on our trip in December, did we not, loved ones? My tribe. There's an energy in hoping, right? If I'm hoping for something, if I'm looking forward, if I'm wishing, wanting, seeking, hoping, then I'm not living in the truth of where I am, enlightened or not, here, now, which I believe is complete in this moment with everything I need. There's nothing I need to that I'm not already doing. And I love reading to you and making music and sharing that with you like I did earlier today. I'm going to start from this last paragraph, and this is the last of it for tonight. You want to hope for something better than what you have right now, don't you? Otherwise, you wouldn't be hoping. But then you forget that you have it all right now anyway, and you don't know it. Wasn't too many pages ago, maybe just the very last video or two that we read, where he said life is a banquet. And the tragedy is that most people are starving to death because they don't know that. But then you forget that you have it all right now anyway, and you don't know it. Why not concentrate on the now instead of hoping for better times in the future? Why not understand the now instead of forgetting it and hoping for the future? Isn't the future just another trap? Hug and love on yourself. Hug on your kitty. Here, kitty, kitty. My sweet girl. She's lost most of her hearing, so when she hears noise or when I speak to her now, she just turns in some other direction. She's precious. I love you. I love this life. I see beauty all around me. Happiness or joy or whatever I want to call it in this complete moment. Surrounded by love because it's coming from within. As within, so without. As above, so below. As the Mayans say in Lakesh, Alakeen, I am you and you are me. I love you. I love you. I love you. Feels good to just sit with you in the stillness of this moment.